Okay, guys, so I got a great idea for a video. I was sitting down in my room and I was like, hey, I like Xenoblade. You guys like Xenoblade. You guys ask me about Xenoblade daily on my channel and also on Twitter. And then I was like, yeah, Xenoblade, let's talk about that. Oh, and then I got another idea. I was like, yo, I really like Fire Emblem. Like, Fire Emblem is one of my favorite franchises of all time. You guys ask me about Fire Emblem. I've made multiple videos about Fire Emblem. It's like one of the best. So I was thinking, hey, wait a minute. I've got a great idea for a video. Let's talk about this rumored Nintendo Direct, right? Which there are some rumors out there, but like whatever. But I think that Nintendo's going to do Nintendo Direct in the fall. And let's discuss what's next for Fire Emblem and also for Xenoblade, because those are games that you guys love. What's up, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to discuss what I just talked about. Fire Emblem and Xenoblade. What's going on with these franchises? When can we see them next? Some of the information that I've compiled and more. Before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button if you enjoy Fire Emblem and Xenoblade content on the channel. Also, make sure you subscribe, comment, share the video. What's your favorite Fire Emblem? What's your favorite Xenoblade? What do you think is going to happen? Let me know about that. But let's talk about this. Let's start off with Xenoblade, because I think Xenoblade is probably the closest to being revealed from Fire Emblem. I mean, Fire Emblem, yes, that's going to happen, which we'll talk about in just a bit. But Xenoblade, I think, is a bit closer. And here's the reason why I think it's a bit closer. We haven't had a brand totally new Xenoblade game that wasn't an extension or anything like that, or DLC, since 2017. It's been a while. And that wasn't even the core, main, big Takahashi studio team. That was a little bit of the side team, about 40 people or so, with some outside contracted help with art and other things, that made Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and also made Torn of the Golden Country. We did get Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was great, with the new Future Connected DLC, which was also awesome and everything. But those, once again, are not completely new. Those are extensions of the games that we already got. Now, when is the next big Xenoblade game coming? When is the next big Monolith Soft game coming? Now, there are a variety of factors. There are a variety of things. Now, I have heard personally, rumor-wise, I have heard that there is a Xenoblade game in development. Now, how confident am I in this? I'm about 70% or so that there is, the next thing being announced will be a Xenoblade game. Now, what I'm iffy on is if this Xenoblade game is the purported new IP, essentially just rebranded in something different. So there's so many drastically different ideas in this new Xenoblade game that concept art that we saw and everything, that is the so-called new IP. It's not something separate, because there has been multiple rumors about a new IP and also a new Xenoblade game. But I'm thinking that it could be the same game. The new IP per se could just be a rebooted Xenoblade that they call Xenoblade 3, where they drastically change things, but they're still going to keep the name. They're still going to keep some of the themes in terms of what makes Xenoblade Xenoblade, but the gameplay, the aesthetics, what you see is very different, which we've seen games do before in the past. So that is a very possible conclusion when it comes to this. Now, it could just be that there is a brand new Xenoblade game and there is a brand new IP, or it could just be that there is a new IP. But based on what I'm hearing, it's Xenoblade, but it could be that. I don't want to hype you guys up or get you guys ready for multiple different games here, and it ends up just being Xenoblade 3, or it ends up just being a new IP and there is no Xenoblade 3 for any foreseeable time. Maybe to the next Nintendo Switch system, the next gen or something like that. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. Now, there is one little other matter. I guess it's not too little, but there is one other matter that we have to discuss here, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles X. That is the only Xenoblade game that is missing on the Nintendo Switch platform. And I think that at this upcoming Nintendo Direct, we get a double whammy. If we do get a Nintendo Direct, which the rumors are saying that, and also traditionally, there has always been a big fall Direct. Now, if we do get that, I think that we could see Xenoblade Chronicles X coming over. Maybe not this year, okay? Maybe not this year, but coming over sometime in early 2022. I think that could be it. It's following somewhat in the footsteps of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was announced at the end of the September Nintendo Direct presentation and released in early 2020. So we could be getting that big announcement of a Xenoblade Chronicles X port that is adapted and fit for the Nintendo Switch system with a little bit of enhancements here and there. The game already looks good graphically. All they're probably going to do is make it like 1080p or something like that. Just stabilize the frame rate even more, even though it runs at a solid 30 frames per second. Just get that going completely, and also change some like the text sizes and files and everything like that. But that game has a whole online mode. That game has a whole passive multiplayer mode as well. So it would take quite a bit of tinkering. I don't think it's as easy as bringing over Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I think Xenoblade Chronicles X would be harder. You have the dual gamepad stuff that you have to work out on the Switch. So there's quite a number of tweaks that they would have to make to that game to make it nice and to make it, I would say, acceptable for everyone to play on the Nintendo Switch. So I think that happens at this Nintendo Direct if we do have one, alongside maybe the announcement of a new Xenoblade game as well. Maybe they give us a 1-2 punch. So those are my predictions, I guess, if we do get that, what we see from them. And I think that even if we get a new Xenoblade game, that's cool, that has brand new themes and is kind of different. That's awesome, different type of gameplay. If it's a Xenoblade game that falls in the same vein as the previous ones, that's cool too. If we get a different game altogether, a new IP from Monolith Soft, I'm down for that. I just think it's time for something from Monolith Soft when it comes to something new, because we've been playing extensions of things and DLCs for games that we've played before for multiple years now. So they're probably working on something huge, and that's why I'm thinking, since the last game that the main core team made was back in 2015 with Xenoblade Chronicles X. So I think that they've been hard at work on something to show for us, and maybe it gets announced this year. Now, next up is Fire Emblem. This is something that there's been multiple different rumors kind of floating around. So we've got rumors that the next Fire Emblem game is going to be a remake of a previous game. People have wanted Genealogy of the Holy War. People have talked about maybe Path of Radiance, the Ike duo of games on the GameCube and also on the Wii as well. People have talked about all sorts of stuff. And there's also been a rumor, or rumors, that there's another Paper Mario game in development, maybe from Intelligent Systems, that goes back to the roots, but I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure about that rumor at all, because we just got Paper Mario the Origami King in 2020, which that game, I mean, some people love it, some people hate it, whatever the case is, but it's one of those things to where I'm not sure if they're going to announce another Paper Mario game this soon. I know that they did multiple Paper Mario games on the Nintendo 3DS from what I understand, but I just don't know if that's going to be it. So I'm guessing that it's going to be a new Fire Emblem game, and I don't know if it's going to be a remake or if they take what they did with Fire Emblem Three Houses and expand upon that. They make a pseudo sequel to that game. Like Fire Emblem Awakening and Fire Emblem Fates, those aren't like sequels or directly connected, but you can tell that it was a follow-up in the same vein in terms of what they were doing, with some new themes thrown in there and everything. So maybe they take some of the basis of gameplay, what people loved about Fire Emblem Three Houses, they improve upon that, they make the graphics better, they do a lot to tweak things up, and then they release it with new area, new characters and everything. But you can clearly tell it's a follow-up to what they did to the best-selling Fire Emblem game of all time. So there's quite a number of possibilities here, which I've discussed multiple times on the channel in terms of things. And from what I understand, based on what you guys were talking about on the poll and everything, if you go on the page, with the community page, a lot of you guys want to see a brand new Fire Emblem game with a brand new theme, with brand new characters and all of that. And I think that's kind of what I want to see the most. Remakes are great and everything, and I think that they're really good, and I'd be down like if they did say, hey, we're going to completely remake it Echo style, like Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia. I'd be cool with that. I'd be happy, and I'd probably play it and everything. But I think a brand new Fire Emblem game is what I would like the most, just because they can try so many new and different things. You can do that in remakes. Like Shadows of Valentia had a bunch of new things. It's essentially a new game, so they could do that, and I'm pretty sure it would be like a new game. But with a actual new game, you just see like new characters, and you just see new different type of developments, right, that can push the series forward. And on top of that, you know, the remakes don't always do as well as like the new games in the series. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't when it comes to it. Shadows of Valentia was probably just like a late Nintendo 3DS game. That's the reason why I didn't do as well. And also just because I don't know if Alm and Celica, I don't know if they're like as popular as like Ike and some of the other characters in the Fire Emblem universe. So maybe those were the reasons. But either way, I think that whatever they decide to do with that, with intelligent systems, I think it would be good, because Paper Mario, I mean, I'm not sure if that was made by all of the brunt of intelligent systems. We know that Koei Tecmo made a lot of Fire Emblem 3 houses and helped out quite a bit. So what is the main source of the team actually been doing? You know, what have they been doing outside of helping out with the Fire Emblem a little bit and everything? I want to know. I think they're working on something big. I think it's going to be some type of big new experience. I also asked another poll question saying, like, what would you guys like to see? Like a new IP from Monolith Soft or a new IP from Intelligent Systems? You guys were kind of more on the boat of Monolith Soft and their new IP and what they're doing there. But I think that it would be dope if Intelligent Systems got a shake at a new IP. Now, I know that they got one chance on the Nintendo 3DS with that codename Steam game, but I think it would be cool if they actually got a chance to make an action RPG or something different on the Nintendo Switch. So I'm down for whatever Intelligent Systems has for us, whatever Xenoblade, Monolith Soft has for us, Fire Emblem, whatever the case is, I'm down for it, because I love Monolith Soft and I love Intelligent Systems. I think these are two of Nintendo's best developers. They own Monolith Soft, they don't own Intelligent Systems, but essentially they're almost like a first party, you know, when it comes to Intelligent Systems. So these are two of Nintendo's best developers when it comes to making games for their systems over the decades for Intelligent Systems and decade plus for Monolith Soft. So I can't wait to see what they have for us, because I think one of them, at least one, is going to have something this year to show off for a game next year. So we'll see about that. So what are your thoughts when it comes to a potential showing of these awesome RPGs for a Nintendo Direct this year? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Check out the links in the description. We've got Twitter. Going to give us a follow on there. Stay up to date on all the latest gaming news and information. Also, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you can. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you for the next one. Peace.